Here's the truth no one tells you. The moment you start chasing her, you start losing yourself. It's not about arrogance, it's about balance. A woman doesn't fall for the man who worships her. She falls for the one she can't quite read. When you start chasing, she feels your need. And need kills attraction faster than any mistake you can make. But when you stop, when you move differently, quieter, certain, the gravity shifts. She feels it. The whole room feels it. This isn't about revenge, it's about returning to center. And that's what this journey is. 10 steps to stop chasing and start becoming. Part 1. Understanding why she pulled away. It's easy to believe she lost interest for no reason. That one day she just woke up and decided to drift away. But attraction doesn't vanish randomly. It fades through repetition, predictability, and comfort that comes too easily. You see, human nature is wired for tension, for the dance between want and uncertainty. And when that tension disappears, desire follows it quietly out the door. Mark, a 34-year-old from Chicago, learned this the hard way. He met a woman he truly liked. Soft voice, sharp mind, beautiful in that understated way that makes you pay attention. He gave everything from day one, dinners planned down to the wine, texts that arrived before sunrise, flowers delivered without reason. Every gesture was perfect, except one thing. He never allowed mystery to breathe. She never had the chance to wonder what he was doing, what he was thinking, or if he might be slipping away. After a few months, she started replying later. Her tone softened into politeness, her curiosity vanished. Mark could feel it, that slow, quiet withdrawal that no amount of effort can fix. He thought he could win her back with more attention. So he tried harder, texted longer, planned bigger. But the harder he chased, the faster she ran. What he didn't realize was this: when you give someone everything too soon, you teach them to expect it. You remove the thrill of earning your presence. And in doing so, you lower your value. Not because you're less, but because you've made yourself too available to be missed. It's not about playing games. It's about balance. When a woman feels she has complete control, your time, your emotions, your focus, she subconsciously relaxes. And that relaxation kills attraction. It's not malice, it's instinct. Curiosity is the oxygen of desire, and when it's gone, love turns into routine. So before you blame her for pulling away, ask yourself, did you stop being the mystery she fell for? Because when she no longer has to reach for you, she eventually forgets why she reached in the first place. Part 2. Emotional detachment. Emotional detachment isn't coldness. It's clarity, the quiet realization that your peace is worth more than your need to be understood. People think detachment means not caring. It doesn't. It means caring deeply, but choosing not to destroy yourself in the process. It's the art of standing still while the storm tries to pull you back in. When you love someone, you want to protect the connection. You overthink every silence, every delay, every shift in tone. You start chasing reassurance instead of respect. And without realizing it, you begin to leak power from every word you send. Picture this. You're standing in the rain, holding a tiny flame in your hands. Every drop that falls threatens to kill it. So you start catching the rain with your bare palms, trying to protect both the flame and her comfort. But soon your fire fades and she doesn't even notice. Because while you were shielding her warmth, you forgot to guard your own. That's what emotional detachment corrects. It teaches you to stop shielding someone else's comfort at the cost of your peace. It teaches you that silence can be sacred, a space where dignity regrows. Detachment doesn't come from bitterness. It comes from exhaustion, from finally seeing that chasing her emotions won't bring yours back. You stop explaining yourself. You stop arguing for your worth. You stop performing for a heart that's no longer paying attention. Instead, you move differently. You speak less, but every word has weight. You smile less, but every moment feels grounded. You start to become the calm in your own storm, and that calm, paradoxically, becomes magnetic. Ethan, a 29-year-old from Seattle, learned this after his girlfriend left without warning. He didn't beg, he didn't text. For 30 days he disappeared, not as a tactic, but as a man choosing to rebuild. He worked, lifted weights, wrote in silence. Every day he lit a new flame for himself. On day 31 his phone buzzed. A message: "You've changed." But Ethan didn't change for her. He didn't post to prove anything. He had simply reclaimed what he lost: his direction, his gravity, his quiet power. And that's why she noticed. Because emotional detachment isn't about turning away from love, it's about turning toward yourself. The moment you stop bleeding for those who don't value your pulse, you begin to feel your heartbeat again, steady, unbothered, and stronger than before. Part 3. The common traps that keep men stuck. Most men don't lose the woman. They lose their center. They let emotion take the wheel the moment she steps back. You can see it happen. The panic creeping in, the desperate thoughts, the trembling impulse to fix something that doesn't want to be fixed. So they send one more text, one more apology, one more just checking in. Each message feels like control, but it's surrender. Each word makes them smaller in her eyes and emptier in their own. That's how power slips away, not in a single act, but in tiny emotional leaks. A comment on her post, a like on her new selfie, a half-hearted joke in her DMs, hoping she'll remember how things used to be. But she won't, not because she's cruel, but because the chase flipped. You're chasing validation while she's watching you crumble. Understand this: when you react to her distance, you confirm it. When you show that her silence shakes you, she learns she controls your emotional temperature. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who can be emotionally steered with one unreturned text. Don't feed her ego with attention disguised as hope. Don't check her profile to see who she's with, or if she's posted something that might be about you. That's not love. That's obsession pretending to be care. The discipline is in doing nothing. Not as a trick, but as a truth. Because silence, when it comes from strength, echoes louder than any reaction. When you don't respond, you're not ignoring her, you're reflecting her. Your silence becomes a mirror, forcing her to see her own distance for the first time. Let her wonder if she went too far. Let her guess whether you've moved on. Let her realize that the attention she took for granted is no longer hers to command. That's when the balance shifts. That's when the man she thought she could control becomes the one she can't stop thinking about. Because nothing unsettles a woman more than a man who no longer reacts, and nothing attracts her more than the one who finally learned to hold his peace. Part 4. The power of no contact. No contact isn't a trick. It's not a move to make her chase you. It's the moment a man stops bleeding energy into someone who no longer values it. It's not about punishment, it's about peace. In a world where everyone is endlessly connected, where silence is rare and scrolling replaces reflection, your absence becomes deafening. When everyone else shouts for attention, you vanish. And that silence, that deliberate stillness, becomes thunder in her mind. For 30 days you do nothing. No messages. No stories. No subtle likes. You disappear from her notifications, from her habits, from her daily rhythm. You exist in your own orbit, calm, detached, building something she can't see. At first, she doesn't notice. She's distracted, confident, scrolling through her world. But then, the absence grows heavier. She checks your profile out of instinct, nothing new. She posts something provocative, expecting a reaction, nothing. She texts your friends casually, "Hey, how's he been?" They don't know either. That's when it starts. The mind begins to fill in the silence with stories. Maybe he's moved on. Maybe he met someone. Maybe he just doesn't care anymore. She starts to feel the very thing you once felt, the emptiness of uncertainty. And in that moment, the balance resets. But here's the truth. No contact is not for her, it's for you. It's your time to return to yourself, the man you were before anxiety replaced strength. Before waiting on a text became the measure of your worth. You rebuild routines, discipline, muscle, direction. You learn to sit with discomfort until it turns into power. You'll be tempted to break it, to check her page, to send a harmless message. But every small contact is a leak, and power once leaked is hard to recover. So stay silent. Stay composed. Not because she deserves your silence, but because you do. Let her feel the void she created. Let her wonder what changed. Let her realize that your peace isn't built on her presence anymore. No contact is not manipulation. It's nature rediscovering balance, the quiet law that what we take for granted eventually disappears, and what disappears becomes valuable again. You don't chase that moment. You become it. Part 5. Focus while she's gone. The silence isn't a punishment for her. It's medicine for you. It's the stillness that lets you hear your own heartbeat again after months of noise and need. When she's gone, you're given something rare, space. And what you do with that space determines who you become next. Most men waste it. They scroll through her photos, replay old messages, and call it healing. They stare into the digital ghost of what used to be, hoping for one more sign that she still cares. But that's not recovery. That's slow emotional decay disguised as nostalgia. The silence is an opportunity, a test of whether you can live without the story you built around her. Because the truth is, you don't miss her as much as you miss who you were when she loved you. And that version of you still exists. He's just buried under regret, waiting to be rebuilt. Jack from Texas understood this after his fiancée walked out. The first few months were hell. He'd wake up and reach for a phone that no longer lit up with her name. He tried drowning the ache in noise, music, bars, distractions, but it stayed. Silence has a way of following you until you face it. One morning he stopped. No music, no scrolling. He opened an empty journal and wrote one sentence. "If I survive this, I'll never chase again." That was the first moment he chose himself. From there he built piece by piece. Workouts became therapy. Books replaced texts. Every drop of pain became fuel for progress. 6 months later, he wasn't thinking about her anymore. He was thinking about expansion, growth, ownership. 2 years later, he didn't just recover. He owned a company. When she finally texted, "I'm proud of you," he smiled, set the phone down and never replied. Not because he was angry, but because he didn't need her validation anymore. Her approval had lost its gravity. That's what silence does when you use it well. It turns heartbreak into clarity. It reveals the man you forgot you were, the one who didn't chase love to feel whole. You don't rebuild to make her come back. You rebuild to remember who you were before you forgot. And once you find that man again, you'll realize she was never the loss. Losing yourself was. Part 6. Turning heartbreak into fuel. Heartbreak is the price of loving deeply, the unavoidable tax every man pays when he gives his heart without a safety net. You can't escape it. You can only decide whether it destroys you or forges you. Most men waste their heartbreak. They drink it down, scroll through it, or hide from it behind distractions. They talk about moving on, but every night they replay the same memories like reruns of a life that no longer exists. That's not healing, that's self-pity dressed as survival. But the smart ones, the disciplined ones, use it. They take that raw ache and feed it into something sharper. Pain, when harnessed, becomes power. It strips away illusions and forces you to see what's real, who you are when no one is watching, and who you could be if you stopped feeling sorry for yourself. Pain can make you dangerous, but not in a cruel way, in a focused way. It makes your discipline real. When you've been broken once, small discomforts stop scaring you. You don't fear early mornings or heavy lifts or long nights of solitude. You felt worse and survived. Every rep in the gym, every late-night grind session, every quiet walk under streetlights with your thoughts, that's your pain turning into muscle, into focus, into will. You don't numb the ache, you digest it. You let it burn everything weak inside you. The need for validation, the urge to chase, the hunger for approval. And in that burning you start to rebuild. The man who walks out of heartbreak is never the same man who entered it. He's harder to shake, quieter, more deliberate. He doesn't seek revenge or closure because he's found something better, direction. So don't run from heartbreak. Run through it. Let it shape you. Let it teach you that pain isn't punishment, it's refinement. And when you finally rise, you'll be unrecognizable. Not to her, she won't matter anymore. But to yourself, the man who finally turned loss into power and pain into purpose. Part 7. Building emotional strength. Emotional strength isn't the absence of feeling. It's the mastery of it. It's standing in the middle of your emotions, the fear, the longing, the confusion, and not letting them dictate your next move. Most men think strength means silence, but true strength is composure. It's not about building walls, it's about building foundations. A calm man doesn't feel less, he simply refuses to be ruled by what he feels. When you can face rejection without collapsing, when you can hear, "I need space," and give it without resentment, you've stepped into a different kind of power. Because a man who can hold his ground in emotional storms is a man who can't be steered by them. Women are drawn to calmness because calmness equals control. Not control over her, control over yourself. When you don't react to every mood, every silence, every test, she begins to sense something rare, safety. Not the safety of predictability, but the safety of presence. The feeling that no matter what happens, you won't fall apart. Think about it. When you lose your cool, when you beg, explain, or overreact, you hand your power away. You teach her that her behavior controls your emotions. And once someone knows they can move you like a puppet, respect dies quietly in the background. Emotional strength is your shield. It's what makes you immune to her games and grounded in your own gravity. It doesn't mean you don't care, it means you care with discipline. So the next time she pulls back, don't flinch. Let the space breathe. If she disappears, don't chase. If she returns, don't melt. Your calm will say what words never can, "I am whole without you." Because the truth is, the world will always test your balance through people, loss, and desire. But the man who doesn't need reassurance to feel worthy is the man no one can manipulate. He doesn't demand control, he is control. And in that quiet steadiness, he becomes untouchable. Part 8. Making her miss you. You don't make her miss you through silence alone. You make her miss you by becoming a man she can no longer easily reach. A man whose energy feels scarce, whose presence lingers even when he's not there. In a world drowning in noise, scarcity is power. Everyone posts, reacts, overshares, tries to prove they're doing fine. But the man who vanishes from the noise, who simply lives without broadcasting it, becomes unforgettable. He doesn't chase relevance, he builds gravity. Stop posting, stop reacting. Start living. Let your absence speak where words would have been wasted. The goal isn't to make her wonder what you're doing. It's to remind yourself that her attention is not your oxygen. You don't disappear to punish her. You disappear to find your rhythm again, the sound of your own progress, the quiet of self-respect. When you pull your attention back from someone who stopped earning it, you don't create emptiness, you create focus. And the strange thing about focus is that it glows. Even when you're gone, people feel it. She'll scroll through her phone and realize your silence isn't indifference, it's peace. And peace in a world addicted to chaos is magnetic. She'll wonder why you're not watching her stories, why you're not liking her posts. She'll replay the times when your name appeared on her screen, and suddenly that absence will start to sting. Curiosity will turn into confusion, and confusion will turn into desire. Because what once felt guaranteed now feels gone. And human nature can't resist what it can't predict. You don't need to stage a comeback or send a signal. Your growth is the signal. Your silence is the echo. Mystery always beats availability. Always. When you live with purpose instead of proving your worth, your absence becomes heavier than your presence ever was. And that's when she misses you. Not because you're gone, but because for the first time, she realizes she never really knew you. Part 9. When she reaches out. One day she'll reach out. It'll come quietly, maybe a "hey stranger," maybe a random memory, or a single emoji that says everything and nothing at once. It won't be about the words, it'll be about curiosity, about testing the water to see if the fire is still burning. Don't rush, don't overthink, don't let your heartbeat turn into a strategy session. Just breathe. You don't owe her warmth. You don't owe her an explanation. If you reply, make it calm, brief, and detached. Doing well. Hope you're good too. That's it. No nostalgia, no hidden emotion. You're not here to reopen the past. You're simply acknowledging the present. Then do nothing. Let the silence hang. Let her feel the echo of the space she created. Because silence isn't cold, it's clarifying. It reminds her that she's not entitled to your attention anymore. If she tries to keep the conversation going, don't rush to fill it. Keep it short, grounded, polite. Let her wonder whether she still has a place in your world. And if she asks to see you, don't rearrange your life to make it happen. Don't drop your plans. Don't cancel your workout, your meeting, or your peace. Just say, calmly and simply, "We'll see. I've got a lot going on this week." That sentence carries power because it's true. Your time has value now. You're not the same man who waited for her to decide. You're the man who learned that his world keeps moving with or without her. You're not being cruel by setting boundaries. You're being fair to yourself. This isn't about revenge or games, it's about balance. You're reminding her, and yourself, that connection is a privilege, not a right. If she feels the distance, good. That's how she'll remember what respect feels like. Because nothing rekindles attraction faster than scarcity. And nothing commands respect more than a man who no longer bends his time around someone else's uncertainty. You're not punishing her. You're honoring yourself. And that, more than anything, is what she'll feel when the silence between you starts to speak. Part 10. Setting boundaries and reclaiming power. If she comes back, understand this. The rules are no longer the same. She doesn't return to the same version of you she once left behind. That man is gone. The one standing here now has boundaries, not bruises. Boundaries aren't walls meant to keep people out. They're doors with locks that you choose when and how to open. And this time, only you hold the key. If she tries to test you, don't argue. Don't explain why something bothers you. Your silence will say everything. If she crosses your lines, you don't need to raise your voice or seek revenge. You just walk away, quietly, decisively, completely. Because silence after disrespect is the loudest message a man can send. It says, I value myself more than your approval. It says, I don't chase chaos anymore. Power isn't about controlling her or anyone else. It's about mastering your own reactions, being unshaken, deliberate, grounded. That's what separates strength from noise. When you truly know your worth, you don't announce it. You don't prove it through grand gestures or long explanations. You simply live it, in how you walk, how you speak, how quickly you leave when peace is broken. If she's wise, she'll rise to meet this new version of you. If not, you'll let her go with calm eyes and a steady hand. Because you've already won, not by getting her back, but by reclaiming your power, your focus, and your peace. And once a man reaches that point, no one, not even the woman who once had his heart, can ever take it from him again. Final reflection. Becoming the man who doesn't chase. You are no longer the man who begs. No longer the man staring at a phone, waiting for validation that never comes. You are the man who builds, who vanishes into silence, not out of weakness, but out of purpose. You're the man who sharpens himself in solitude until peace becomes his power. There's a quiet danger in you now, the kind born from discipline, not anger. You no longer chase attention because attention now finds you. You no longer ask to be seen because your presence speaks louder than your words ever could. Remember this. The moment you stop chasing, you stop bleeding value. And the moment you stop bleeding value, you start radiating it. The world senses it. In the way you move, the calm you carry, the silence that follows you into every room. She feels it too. Even if she doesn't say a word. Even if she never comes back. Because this transformation was never about her. It was about reclaiming what you gave away. Your self-respect, your focus, your quiet gravity. Whether she returns or not no longer matters. Because now you've become the man every woman remembers, and the man you were always meant to be. If this message hits something deep inside you, don't just watch. Transform. Subscribe. Stay with this journey. Drop this in the comments below. I don't chase love, I become it. Because power isn't noise. It's presence. And yours begins in silence.